Hello and welcome, and thank you for joining us again on another interesting episode of FWhy podcast. Now, here is where you get to listen to the journeys, the struggles, and the triumphs of your favorite personalities. आज मेरे पास एक बड़ी स्पेशल गेस्ट है. मैं कह सकती हूँ कि मैं ऑलमोस्ट 4 डेकेड से उनको जानती हूँ, लेकिन जो उन्होंने किया है इस मुल्क में अपने प्रोफेशन में और दूसरे प्रोफेशंस में भी, वो एक प्रोफेशन की नहीं है मालिक, वो किसी और ने नहीं अचीव किया है. शी इज़ इंटरनेशनली renowned, शी इज़ एन अवार्ड विनर, शी इज़ हेयर मेकअप, शी इज़ zero makeup, she is image consultant, she is a global entrepreneur, she loves to travel as well, she likes to change. There's so much I can say about this guest, but I think you've understood what I said when I said zero makeup and change. It is the one and only Nabila changes. Am I right?
Yep.
Okay, so Nabila, change की तो बात है ना. अब सबको तो पता ही नहीं है कि मेरी आपकी जर्नी कहाँ से. Usually I'm connected to most of the guests that come here because I think I choose them, you know. And मैं आपके पीछे काफ़ी अरसे से पड़ी हुई थी. एक तो ट्रैवल इतना करती हैं कि इनको पकड़ना भी बड़ा मुश्किल होता है. But you know, she finally gave me the time and I'm very excited to have her here. So मैं पहले शुरू करूँगी कहाँ से मैं उनको जानती हूँ. जब मैं नबीला को पहली बार मिली थी, she doesn't like hearing this, but I went to a kitty party, yes, a committee party, which my sister was hosting, and she had started many years ago. Or she roped me in, this is somewhere 1986, कि तुमने भी इसको ज्वाइन करना है. तो मुझे उस वक्त पता ही नहीं था कि ये कमेटी पार्टीज होती क्या हैं. मगर नशमिया के घर पे, मेरी बहन के घर पे, I met Nabila. That's where I met her the first time. And then उसके बाद you know, my sister was modeling, तो मैं भी उसके अंदर, मुझे भी उस तरफ ले गए. और मैं I remember going to apartments in Clifton, if I'm not wrong, and you've talked about this, how you started and you know कि journey कहाँ से start हुई. लेकिन वो एक, मुझे जहाँ तक याद है, एक छोटा सा शीशा था सामने और एक छोटा सा वो पड़ा हुआ था इसी तरह का, और उधर मैं बैठ गई और साथ ही मेरे सामने किचनेट था या सर्वेंट क्वार्टर था या कुछ था.
नहीं, वो पूरा सर्वेंट क्वार्टर ही था, आप उधर ही बैठी थी.
हाँ, जब मैं सर्वेंट क्वार्टर, so I was sitting in the servant quarter and having my makeup and hair done, and she said to me, I really like your Guess bra. I mean, it was like a tank top, and but I was wearing it and I was like, she knows this. She knows what I'm wearing. So that was pretty cool because मैं अभी college से वापस आई थी. And you know, it was just an incredible time because वो एक time था जब fashion emerge किया है, जिसको कुछ लोग, बहुत चंद लोग चला रहे थे, कुछ designers, कुछ photographers, makeup artists, and Nabila was one of the style mafia. She was coined the style mafia. अब तो अब माफिया को तो छोड़ें, अब तो माफिया भी नहीं रहा है. माफिया में कुछ और लोग होते हैं. आई थिंक नबीला की जो फील्ड है ना, उसमें एक ओलिगार्की भी नहीं रही है. एक वो क्या कहते हैं, मोनो, सिंगल. I think you're the queen of what you do.
और गॉडफादर.
गॉडफादर, गॉडमदर. मुझे भी गॉडमदर कहते जाता है. मुझे पहले अपसेट हो गई, यार मुझे ग्रैंड मदर का टाइटल दे दिया ना.
I am a grandmother.
डॉन बनना मजेदार चीज. डॉन is like really cool. Like
whatever you call it, doesn't matter. The title doesn't matter.
I'm going to call you Dawn from now on.
Oh.
Okay. So changes, right? Nabila changes. You're going to do some changes here. So, I mean, this is quite the journey, Nabila. And but I'm going to go back all the way. And I read, which I did not know, okay, father was from Mumbai, mother was Afghanistan, right? But I was thinking about it, I was looking at your face and thinking about your face and thinking, yeah, Afghani features, huh? And then I thought, yes, there is that slight touch of Afghani. So how did this happen? Is it like a rishta thing that your parents met?
Yes, so my father is from Belgaum in Bombay.
Okay.
And my mother, of course, from Afghanistan. They both migrated to Pakistan, जब Pakistan बना. और I think my father's sister was my mother's friend. So my father saw, you know, my mother through her, and they liked each other. And उनके फैमिली में बाहर शादी नहीं करते थे, like you know, अफगान्स, पठान्स, वो मिल के रहते हैं. तो उनको लग रहा था कि you know, कोई गुजराती और बॉम्बे, it's like a different caste, you know. But they persevered, and I feel like I'm very lucky to have the best of both worlds. So my discipline comes from the Bombay side, and my you know, love for fashion and style and life comes from the Afghanistan, Iran side.
Yeah. Wow. Iran also.
Yeah, border.
Border. Okay. So that's very interesting lineage. And Nabila was one of 4 siblings, just like my family. वो यही होता है, 2 बहनें, 2 भाई, भाई का भाई, बहन का बहन और बहन का भाई. Am I right?
Exactly. That's what my mother's dream was.
My mother's dream also. Okay, amongst other dreams. But interesting. And she got her dream, you know, and she had 4 of you, and you were very close to her. This is what also I've read. But you were a naughty child. I can imagine that. Because obviously, Nabila kahin se conventional nahi hai. I mean, I've met your sister. Your brother I've also met. Your sister is very conservative. Okay, and I remember जब मैं वापस आई थी, she was doing a lot of bridal makeups and all. She was the one in this field, right? But it was like incredible, you know. I remember meeting you. So now the childhood, growing up, you were not just growing up in Karachi.
No, my father traveled a lot, like he was based. We were in Bangladesh. We came during the
Really?
war,
Oh.
and we literally ran. Curfew लग रहा था और एक school से हम आए और foreign uniform में ही कराची आए. So we didn't bring anything with us. So he had to restart a few times, and we just were changing schools all the time. So it's between Bangladesh, Karachi, and Dubai.
Wow. Now it's Dubai. Now it's like Barcelona also, let me tell you. She's very global. Turkey also now, I know there's a little bit of London also. London, I think, has always been there because of your school training with Alsason, right? But, so you lived in Bangladesh. Wow.
As well as a kid.
As a
so
kid,
growing up was very. I mean, I don't reminisce or think about my childhood as a very good memory, because I was very. I was living in a fairy tale. I had a parallel life that I was like imagining, imagination में एक मेरी अलग जिंदगी थी.
सही है.
So, but reality was very different from
Right.
that. And, being the second daughter, and you know how Pakistani families want a son. So, I
Yeah.
always felt unwanted, because my mother was like looking for a son, and
Yeah.
third was son. So,
Yeah.
first daughter to chalo excitement mein chali gayi. Second daughter was a setback for her, I felt. And also, I have always been a little bit crazy, a little bit rebellious, which now I feel, if I were my mother, I would feel like this child is a genius, how to nurture that, rather than saying कि इसको 2 थप्पड़ लगाओ ये शैतान है.
Because you weren't conforming.
Exactly. So, there was so much creativity, there was so much imagination, there was so much vision, which was curbed. And I think at 18, when I finally got married and left, is when my journey began. So my life began at 18, when I deleted everything that I was taught in school and family and society, and then I had the liberation to start my own life. So my life begins at 18. So technically, I'm not even 40 yet. Just kidding.
I think when you're changing, you're reborn almost all the time. And I think people like you who evolve so much and want to embrace change is very important. And I think ये FY में आप बिल्कुल Y जो है ना आप में बिल्कुल suit करता है, because you were questioning and you were not allowed to question, and again you were being taught to conform. And I understand your story, because I was firstborn and my sister was second, and even though she was blue-eyed and blonde and very pretty, I know that there was a little bit of disappointment from my dad, even though he just loved her. She became my favorite. But the firstborn is always the firstborn, and then बेचारे जो बीच के होते हैं ना वो थोड़े मारे जाते हैं, और जो बेबी होता है तो उसको तो छोड़ ही देते हैं ना, उसको कहता है खुद ही पल जाएगा, है ना, उसको थोड़ा सा सपोर्ट मिल जाता है. सो दैट्स जो भी होता है हमारे साथ एक किस्म का सही हो रहा होता है, बिकॉज हम एक टाइम आता है एक हमारी जर्नी के अंदर जब हम खुद अपनी फ्रीडम ढूंढते हैं. एंड आई रिमेंबर दिस कि मैं नबीला के साथ बैठी थी, तो याद हो कि ना हो, तुमने मियाँ को कैसे मिली थी, तुम्हारा रिश्ता हुआ था?
हाँ बिल्कुल. By the time I was 18, I wanted to leave that house, और जो पहला रिश्ता है, I said let's go.
But पहला रिश्ता, you told me something else.
हाँ, 3 दफ़ा मना भी किया था.
उसको ही मना किया था?
उसी को मना किया था. हाँ, because I said कि मुझे इस community में नहीं करनी शादी, because my sister was married into Hojas.
Okay.
So, but then Maqsood was so nice that I spoke to him. When I finally spoke to him, it took me like 1 minute to go in and tell my mother yes. So she said कि 3 साल से तुम मना कर रही हो, अब 1 मिनट में हाँ कैसे कह
3 साल यानी कि 15 साल की उम्र से रिश्ता आ रहा है and you have been denying it. And so it was a रिश्ता.
It was totally arranged.
So arranged marriage. And I remember कि मुझे तुमने मेरे साथ बैठ के बात की थी एक दिन गपशप में. तुमने मुझे कहा था कि I sat with him और मैंने उससे पूछा तुम मुझे काम करने दोगे? उसने कहा हाँ. तुमने उसके साथ पूरा वो conversation हुई थी तुम्हारी.
Yeah. I asked him 2 questions which I can't repeat.
Yes, I know.
And in those 2 questions, I had the whole analysis कि okay, this person is going to be the right person.
Right.
And he was. So we were married for 22 years.
Yes, that's right. And I knew him as well. I remember I have very fond memories of coming to your house and everything. तो वो भी एक journey थी. So this is where you got your real freedom, and that's when you started evolving.
So that's a very interesting story. उनके जो थे 7 भाई और 4 बहनें थीं.
Oh my God.
हाँ. और सबकी शादियां हुई हुई थी. So he was the last child.
अच्छा.
So there were like 7 जेठानियां वाली की कहानी, and they
God.
had a huge house in निश्तर पार्क के सामने. वो पटेल पुराने सारे जो बड़े बड़े घर सोल्जर बाजार में होते थे, बड़े झूले वाले घर जो होते थे.
Love those
So
houses.
everyone used to live together. So my mother-in-law is really sweet. She said, do you mind, because there's no place left in this house, do you mind if we get you your own apartment? I was like, yes. So from day one, I had my own apartment.
Freedom.
And I remember, that's why I say that my life began at 18, because I had my own apartment at 18 with a very supportive husband.
And the freedom to choose your own furniture. I tell my daughter-in-law that, why do you want to live here? Get your own furniture. You don't want to live in your parents' furniture, and you don't want to do that, right? Once you're like, even if you're not married and you want to have the freedom, तो बड़ी ज़रूरी बात होती है. Please ये लोग आप लोग understand करें इस चीज़ को, because it's lovely to live in a joint family system also if everybody gets along, but it's not possible. आपके बहन भाइयों से भी लड़ाइयाँ होती हैं, और जब फिर आपके in-laws में लड़ाइयाँ हो जाए तो बहुत टेंशन और स्ट्रेस.
अच्छा, but I must say that हमारी बिल्कुल भी लड़ाई नहीं हुई. मेरी in-laws से कभी भी लड़ाई नहीं हुई. They were very supportive, although they were very different. At one point they all went hijab and I was doing hair. So but they were very supportive, and even now it's been like more than 17-18 years since the divorce, and they are and still whenever we meet it's very nicely and they speak very highly of me. So मुझे लड़ने की ज़रूरत ही नहीं पड़ी किसी से. I think because space था, distance था, so you're not getting into each other's hair. So that it's very important to have space, and I tell my children the same.
Yeah, I tell my children the same also, and I think this is something that in our society is uncommon. But again, each to their own. जो जिसको अच्छा लगे, जिसमें वो खुश हो.
But then it's very interesting that now after COVID, my daughter-in-law said that we really want to live with you. Like we want us to live together, because I want my daughter to grow up with the grandmother in the house. So funny enough, now by choice we are living in a joint family and really loving it, because early in the morning Eva comes to my room, Sarah sits and have tea with me, we plan the day, my son is there, we have dinner together. Like the things that I have never done in my life I'm doing now. So it's by choice, it's not by force.
And I think ये सबसे important बात है जिसमें इंसान खुश रहे. By choice देनी बहुत ज़रूरी है. Often on this podcast we've talked about the fact that in Pakistan everything is chosen for you. Who you should marry, which school you should go to, what you should wear,
what you should study,
what you should
become.
What you should become. आपके बाल लंबे होने चाहिए, छोटे होने चाहिए, आपके सफ़ेद बाल नहीं होने चाहिए. सब आपकी opinions हो रही होती हैं. आपकी opinion नहीं जो होती है वो
मैटर ही
नहीं करती. आपकी कोई choices ही नहीं है. और सबसे important चीज़ ये होती है कि इंसान को जब अपनी ज़िंदगी जीनी होती है ना, to be happy, you have to be yourself. Am I right?
Of course.
But
then there's a lot of people who live a lie throughout their lives and don't mind it.
Yeah, they don't mind it.
So when I turned 40, I said I am never going to lie to myself first or to others. और वो आप काम ही ना करें जो आपको छुपाना पड़ रहा है. और अगर आप कर रहे हैं, whatever it is you believe in it, then do it, and then do it with don't care for what others have to say about it.
Yeah, I think also Nabila, you found a balance also. I think you might not agree with the bride who has to wear the slightly fairer foundation, but I think being a businesswoman and sometimes realizing that you have to balance things out and go, you can make the changes, but you can also understand where people are coming from, and where this is a very important thing. I think that that you can. I know that it doesn't happen overnight. Change does not happen overnight. It takes a long time to educate or to show people that this is the right way to do things and this is not the right way to do things, or you could do this better. Because I think ignorance बहुत ज़्यादा है हमारे मुल्क में. We have a lot of people who don't have exposure, or they don't have, again, they don't have choice. They don't even have choice to have the exposure. So to learn or to grow. And it is a very interesting thing, because जब मैं पढ़ रही थी, I know from going to your salons for years and years and years that you employ इतने सारे लोग from different backgrounds. There's a sweet little boy who does my pedicure. He doesn't have a leg, and he limps a little bit. वो आके बैठता है और वो काम करता है, and he's smiling all the time. And there's so many transgender community people in your salon as well. And उस दिन जो transgender वाला दिन, तो मैं सबके साथ तस्वीरें खिंचा के, I was putting it up because I was going to that sort of conference. But this is huge. And also आपने ये भी कहा था कहीं कि education की ज़रूरत नहीं होती इस चीज़ के लिए. आपने लोगों को सिखाया है जिसमें भूख होती है. Am I right?
100%. And अभी तो ये inclusive और वर्ड्स जो नए नए आ रहे हैं, बिकॉज इट्स गुड फॉर योर इमेज, ये तो मुझे पता ही नहीं थे. लेकिन आई बीन इन दिस फील्ड 38 years and I've been employing gay, Christian, Hindu, handicap, battered housewives, single women, whichever background you come from, because I say कि अगर आप में हुनर है और मेहनत कर सकते हैं, I'm willing to teach you regardless of which language you speak, which background you come from, how educated you are. So and I'm very proud that I have been able to help these people. Very thankful that they've stuck to me and they have grown, and I've been able to nurture them. They've blossomed. They have a voice. They have an identity. They have a career. Of course, they have financial stability and growth, and future generations set हो गई, सब आगे जारी है. So I feel कि I'm very lucky to be able to do that with my vision, with my open-mindedness, and with my zest for life and work and skill and learn. आपने एक और चीज़ कही कि आपका जो बैलेंस है, so I'll come back to that point and say कि अगर मैं एनप्रो की एग्जांपल लेती हूँ, ठीक है, my daughter-in-law Sarah, when she got married almost 10-11 years ago, she told me कि आप brides क्यों नहीं करती हैं, because I hated brides, because उस ज़माने में जो brides होती थी, तो मैंने कहा कि ये I would, for me, making money out of making people look like this, I don't want that.
Christmas
money.
trees.
Christmas trees. I don't want that. So she says, आप तो बिल्कुल मार्स पे रहती हैं, आप अर्थ पे आ जाएं. So she negotiated with me कि and I didn't even know she's a makeup artist. And I didn't choose her. So it's just luck. आप देखें कि वो my son chose a makeup artist. So we negotiated. तो I said कि देखो, मैं अगर अर्थ पे भी आ गई ना, तो मैं फिर अपनी मर्सिडीज में होंगी. अगर मैं बोरी बाजार भी जाऊंगी तो एसी चल रहा होगा, जैज चल रहा होगा, और मैं क्लिफ्टन ब्रिज तक जाऊंगी, उसके आगे मैं नहीं जाऊंगी. So मैं अर्थ पे भी आके, you don't think that I'll go and I'll do what you want me to do. So this is just figuratively, but balancing. But what we were saying is कि we negotiated. कि मैंने कहा अच्छा मैं हाइट नहीं होगा बालों पे, तो उसने कहा अच्छा माथा पट्टी तो हो सकता है. I said होगा, मगर खुले बालों पे क्यों नहीं हो सकता, ब्लो ड्राई पे क्यों नहीं हो सकता. So that's when we did a shoot, and I don't know, maybe we can give you some images. वो सदफ कमल के ब्लो ड्राई वाले बाल, बिकॉज एन प्रो मैंने खोला ही ये इस शर्त पे कि इट इज गोइंग टू बी द मॉडर्न ब्राइड. एंड बाय देन आई वाज ऑलरेडी 25 years in this business. So जो लोगों की शादियां हुई थी वो बड़े बड़े जूड़ों में, उनकी बच्चियां बाहर से पढ़ के आ गई थी, and they wanted to be themselves and not look like some star or some movie star. तो उन लोगों को फिर हमने केटर करना शुरू किया और हमने इतने ब्राइडल शोज़ किए, शूट्स किए, मॉर्निंग शोज़ किए, जस्ट टू show the concept of the modern bride, where you don't need to be so many shades fairer, you don't need to look pasty, you don't need to look fake, you don't need to look like the neighbor's wife, you don't need to have height, you don't need to have all the jewelry, so know how to balance. And I'm really happy that, you know, so many years later, 11 years later, even if 20% of my brides are the modern bride, I feel कि वो जो education थी, awareness create करनी थी, इन्फ्लुएंस था, वो चल रहा है. एंड पीपल से ये तो खुद की तरह नमूना बना देगी. मैंने कहा एब्सोल्युटली नॉट, बिकॉज मैं नमूना हूँ. लेकिन वी डू अ लॉट ऑफ कमर्शियल वर्क, एज यू मे हैव सीन इन द सैलून. लाइक 95% ऑफ माय वर्क इज कमर्शियल, डे टू डे, फॉर women next door, and it's 5% of it which is like fashion weeks and directional, so that it's aspirational. तो एक चीज अगर हम आज लॉन्च करते हैं तो 10 साल बाद वो बिल्कुल मेन स्ट्रीम के लोग करवा रहे होते हैं. So I have to be directional. I won't play in any other field.
मैं से ये कहूँगी नबीला नमूना नहीं है. I will say this to you because I think and I understand this also, Nabila, कि being, you know, okay, जो rebellious बंदा होता है उसको उस वक्त बड़ी differently देखा जा रहा होता है, जो कि जैसे आप कह रही हैं वो मेन स्ट्रीम हो जाता है, राइट. अभी भी पाकिस्तान में बहुत सारी चीज़ें मेन स्ट्रीम नहीं हुई हैं जो कि बाहर के मुल्क. एंड अब तो बहुत ज़्यादा यंग, आई मीन माई डॉटर इन लॉ, शी सेंड मी दिस इमेज कि मुझे ये पहनना है मेहंदी पे. तो मैंने कहा, एंड इट वाज ब्यूटीफुल बिकॉज शी इज़ हैविंग अ डेस्टिनेशन वेडिंग इन एन आइलैंड ऑन द बीच, and it was a ghagra kind of a thing which had all seaweed and machliyan, and I was like, okay. I was like, this is really cool. I said, it goes with, so the younger generation, you're right, the changes are coming. अब तो खैर खुले बाल is very common, टीका ना पहनो, वो तो जो सतलड़ा पहन के जो दुल्हन यूं बैठी होती थी उनके गर्दन
की तरह
यूं करके लट I mean, सारा अपना जेवर दिखाना, शो ऑफ करना. There was no etiquette to it, right? Exactly. It was just about showing कि इतना मिला है जहेज में, दिखाओ और दूसरे दिन वलीमे पे वो दिखाओ जो दूल्हा वालों ने. I mean, that was the concept, right? और अब modern concept is very different, right? पहले तो एक ज़माने में सोचा भी नहीं जाता था कि मैक्सी पहन के कोई शादी कर लेगा, right? अब तो वो कपड़े भी बदल गए हैं. बट आई एग्री विद यू कि सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट चीज़ होती है कि टू लिसन to the younger generation and take that to listen to everybody. Actually, I would say this कि हर एक की सुनो and take your own direction in some way, but also have a business. This is very important, guys. Have to survive, have to do businesses, have to do many things that we don't necessarily believe, but it's roti rozi. और आपकी रोटी रोजी से पता नहीं कितने 200 बंदे तो चल रहे होंगे, कितने सैलून से.
I learned this from Sarah, and I said कि ठीक है अगर हम करेंगे तो हम इस तरह से करेंगे. So we had to work really hard to create that balance where there is commercial. Of course there is a commercial aspect, and we all need money, but my conscience is clear because we work towards making a change, making a difference.
So I want to know कि Nabila unlearned everything. That's what it's called, unlearning. Right? At 18, you unlearned.
No, at 18, I pressed delete. A lot of it went away.
Okay.
Till now, I'm unlearning.
Yeah, but half of it is also going for therapy and learning, unlearning. हम लोग उस वक्त तो हमें तो जैसे तुम कह रही हो इंक्लूजन, हमें तो नहीं पता था ये वर्ड्स, हमें तो ये भी नहीं पता था कि क्लोजर क्या होता है, हमें ये भी नहीं पता था कि ट्रॉमा क्या होता है. ये वर्ड्स तो हमने सुने ही नहीं थे. ये सारे वर्ड जो थे इधर उधर से.
Even if we went through it, we didn't know the word.
पैनिक अटैक क्या होता है? मैंने तो अपने बेटे के ये क्या तुम लोग पैनिक अटैक और एंजाइटियां, ये क्या होता है यार? हमें सबको हमें तो हो रहा होगा, हमें पता नहीं होता था, right? But we are now learning. But how did you learn? This is what I want to know. I know that you took a course in Viral Sassoon for a long period of time. You went away.
So you know, learn is a process जो अभी तक मेरा चल रहा है और चलता रहेगा. So how did I learn what? Okay, so how did I learn here? At the age of 18, I told you I was married. By 21, I was a teenage mom at 19, and then by 21, I had 2 sons. And Zakir was a few months old when I sold my wedding diamonds and went to Sassoon. and that's where I did my first hair cutting course, and I came back और 8 by 8 का एक servants room था, जिसके अंदर मैंने एक मिरर लगाया, एक चेयर लगाई और एक लेज था जो आपने बताया, और एक अलमारी थी छोटी सी जिसके ऊपर कुशन था, तो आप उधर बैठते थे, नीचे मेरे प्रोडक्ट्स होते थे बिकॉज और कोई अलमारी की जगह नहीं थी. सो दैट्स हाउ आई स्टार्टेड. एंड मैंने एवरीवन सेड के इसका जोश निकल जाएगा, यू नो माय ससुराल एंड मेका बोथ सेड के पागल है, बच्चों को छोड़ के चली गई है एंड अब इसका जोश निकल जाएगा. बट आई डिड वेल, यू नो, पीपल वर एक्चुअली, एंड दैट्स व्हेन आई मेट यू आल्सो. फॉर सम रीजन देयर वाज लाइक आई बॉल्स ऑन मी कि ये क्या करेगी, शायद I don't know why they had faith in me, or they were curious, or they thought there was some substance there. So I had clients the day I came back, and I was good. I was very hardworking. I was emotionally intelligent. I knew what the client wanted. I pushed myself, and the minute I made some money and settled a little bit, went again. Then I did the same. थोड़े से पैसे जमा किए, एक और कोर्स किया, एक और कोर्स किया, क्योंकि आई couldn't go away for years because the kids were young. So I went for a few months, came back, then went for a few weeks, जो मैं अभी तक करती हूँ. Even if I'm not practicing at the salon, I'm still learning to teach my team. तो इस तरह से मैंने hair मैंने इस तरह से सीखा. Then of course, you know, when I did my hair cut beautifully and the makeup was wrong, then I had to go and learn makeup. Then when the makeup and hair was wrong, the clothes was wrong, this was right and this was wrong, I had to go into image consultancy and learn how to style and how to, you know, complete the whole look and reinvent an image consultancy and all of that. तो इस तरह से professionally मैंने ऐसे सीखा. फिर जो product है, जो मेरी अभी जो future है, it's about working in a lab, and I am amazed at my talent in this particular field, because you know how I whipped up concealer which I may have given to you 15
everything I'm wearing is Nabila.
नहीं, ये तो अभी प्रोफेशनली हो गया ना, लेकिन मैं कभी बना के दिया होगा 15-20 साल पहले, मैं हर एक को बना के दे रही होती थी कि ये कंसीलर. So my sense of colors and textures, what's needed.
It took you time also. You took your time.
A long time. 15 years I had it in my bag.
हाँ, कि पहले मैं इसको देखती हूँ कि ये
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. So that is another thing which I'm learning. I'm constantly learning. Then
और एक और चीज़ भी बता दूँ, sorry to cut you, कि नबीला ये नहीं कि सारे का सारा मेकअप कर ला के आपके सामने रख देती है कि ये है. एक एक चीज़ एक से स्टार्ट किया, दूसरी चीज़ लेके आई, फिर तीसरी, फिर चौथी. Am I right?
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. और अभी भी my whole work is about R&D. That's what I'm doing now, and that's why I'm doing less hair personally and training my team. But I'm doing R&D to how I want to go into future is use my knowledge of 38 years and convert that in a box that I will give to you for your solutions.
Right. Yeah.
Where I have done the thinking, and that box or that product or that cosmetic is going to be an intelligent one, because I am somebody who has the solution for you, and I'm working on that. So that is what I'm doing, and inshallah you'll be seeing more and more products.
Okay, yeah. So can I say that after 18 you were totally happy?
I was not happy. I had begun.
You had begun.
I had begun. I was born.
Okay.
And then you know, this hair training that I did for servants' room से kitchen में गई, kitchen से corridor में गई. I was growing up with the kids and with the business, and then by then I was like in my mid-20s, and I felt that I'm old enough now to have a separate place, which was at Sasi Botvi, if you remember. तो वो घर से 1 मिनट की walk पे था. तो घर के अंदर नहीं था, मगर घर से करीब था कि बच्चे अभी भी छोटे हैं, अगर खुदा ना खास्ता कुछ हो तो I can run back. So then I was in that place for a while, and then when I was in my late 20s, that's when I felt comfortable कि अब मैं board लगा के road पे जा सकती हूँ, and that's when we were in Zamzama. So in the 90s. And then of course in Zamzama se Park Towers, and then you know, Lahore opened, PC opened, Islamabad opened. Now we are at East Street. Now we have KDA. Then we opened N-Gents. We opened N-Pro.
There's so many.
Yes.
Wow.
So वो एक के बाद एक तो प्रोफेशनल ग्रोथ वैसे होती रही है, लेकिन जो पर्सनल ग्रोथ है, आई वुड से कि मेरा सबसे ज़्यादा जो मैं अपने आप को क्रेडिट देती हूँ वो पर्सनल एवोल्यूशन पे है, बिकॉज आई कम फ्रॉम वेरी हम्बल एंड वेरी conventional background. You know, my Susralis, as I told you, wear hijab, and you've seen my family, they're very, very conventional people. But मैंने जो अपना evolution किया है, not professional but mental and spiritual evolution, that is something I would give myself credit for, and that all comes from watching, learning, hearing, reading,
This is what
absorbing,
yeah.
thinking, reflecting, changing, embracing evolution.
Yeah.
I would say this has been an upward spiral.
Yeah, I also remember Nabila used to have the best Halloween parties. Nobody could beat those Halloween parties. They were so much fun.
Way ahead of time. 30
Way
years
ahead of
ago.
you had embraced the, I mean, if I can say it, on a LGBT community a long time ago, or anybody who was different, you know.
Anybody who was
Anybody who was different and wanted to be different. And I think Halloween एक वो दिन होता है वाहिद कि आप कुछ भी बन सकते हैं. So you're embracing a lot of different people, different cultures, and उनसे भी इंसान सीखता है, because हम अपने आप को जब लिमिट कर देते हैं तो हम फंस जाते हैं. So let's talk about the kids, the two boys. So beautiful. They're both handsome, really tall, by the way.
हाँ, so मैं कहती हूँ कि थैंक्स टू मकसूद इनकी नाकें सीधी हो गई और ये लंबे हो गए.
लंबे हो गए, but also they're super like successful children, you know, and now you have a granddaughter as well. But I remember again, Nabila, मुझे मैं हमेशा मैं इससे बात भी करती हूँ. मैंने स्टेज पे भी जाके एक मरतबा की थी जब अवार्ड दे रही थी मैं नबीला को, कि मैं जब कनाडा से वापस आई थी, and my children were really small. They were 2.5 and 1.5. Parisha was, I think. And I said, नबीला, अम्मी ने मुझे कहा घर आके, मैं अम्मी के घर में रह रही थी, कि नबीला का फ़ोन आया सिंगापुर से. And I was like, नबीला सिंगापुर से मुझे क्यों फ़ोन करी है, हाँ? And I just got घबरा गई थी मैं कि पता नहीं क्या हो गया. And then again she called again. You know, she made the point of calling me back after some hours. And you said to me on the phone, whatever you do, अपने बच्चों को ignore ना करना. You said this to me, right? And in your interviews and everything that I have read or know of, you said that इस खेल कूद में, you said you were a teenage mother, so you were growing up with your children. उस चीज़ में you felt कि तुम, you must have felt, because you said this to me and you said this yourself, and there was a struggle for a while. So can you tell us about that a little bit?
Yes, sure. So you know, I mean, because मैं इतनी freedom की और प्रोफेशनल फ्रीडम की भूखी थी कि जब मुझे मिली तो मैं आई वाज लाइक मुझे हौका था कि मैं और सीखूं और कोर्सेज करूं, ग्रो करूं, बिजनेस करूं, काम करूं, प्रोफेशनली करूं. उस ज़माने में शूट्स वगैरह भी हमने शुरू किए थे. वी वर वेरी न्यू टू बिगिन दैट. वो ऐसा काम होता नहीं था. तो वो उसके लिए हमें ट्रैवल भी करना पड़ता था, लोकेशंस पे भी जाना पड़ता था. इट वाज फिजिकली
चैलेंजिंग आल्सो ना. अभी तो तुम्हारे पास पूरी टीम है.
बिल्कुल. तो वो काम खड़े होके खुद किया है हमने. तो उस टाइम पे बच्चों को आई फील के जो अटेंशन देनी चाहिए, जैसे सारा इज इन हर 30s नाउ एंड हैविंग ईवा, वो एक मिनट उसको नहीं छोड़ती. हर प्रायोरिटी इज ईवा एंड नाउ इवन माय प्रायोरिटी इज ईवा. बट आई फील के वो वाला पैशन मेरे बच्चों में नहीं था बीइंग अ यंग मदर. माय पैशन probably, I mean, there was a lot of love and care, and even now my pediatrician, you know, when I used to go through these pangs कि मैंने I wasn't a good mother, she said that I haven't seen a mother like you because you were always there and you were सुबह के 4 बजे भी आ तो मेरे घर फिजिकली पहुंच जाती थी कि बच्चा खांस रहा है, बीमार है. सो आई सेड कि नहीं, लेकिन मुझे पता है कि अंदर से जो अभी मेरा है बच्चों के लिए वो उस वक्त नहीं था, वो डिवाइडेड था. लेकिन I feel in my mid-30s, when the kids were also teenagers and they were leaving, so you know, they went and studied in Singapore at a boarding school at a very early age. And when they left is when I realized, oh my God, they're gone. I was an empty nester at the age of 35. Too young. You know, too young. And I realized there lots of things went wrong, and you know, like I had this working mother's guilt. So I went for a lot of therapy and to understand and to kind of forgive myself, understand the balance and understand कि हर चीज़ के लिए आपको कोई कुर्बानी देनी पड़ती है. And maybe the price I paid for it was ignoring them at a time when they were young and I needed them, they needed me more than I needed them. But now 35 onwards, then I worked on my relationship with my kids. I really made it up to them, and I think now we have a great relationship, we have a great communication. So I feel that I have kind of you know,
Balanced it out. Balance ho gaya.
mended that
Mended.
broken feeling that
Yeah,
I had.
that you
Probably the
had.
kids didn't
Yeah,
have that, but I
yeah,
had it
yeah.
because I knew that I could have
Right.
done better.
Yeah.
And I think the reason I may have called you is when I heard you know, Frieha is back, etc., and she has young kids,
Single
and I
parent.
knew that you are
हाँ.
so gung ho on your profession, etc. So I wanted to pass
Ambition.
this information or my advice to you. You know, in this whole rigmarole, do not
Get
ignore your
lost.
kids.
और ये I mean ये इतनी मुझे बात अच्छी लगी थी कि obviously मैं कभी भूल ही नहीं सकती because उस वक्त ये सच बात है when you are very young or you're not even young. I wasn't even young when I came back, but when you have small children and there is a struggle, you know, there you are very vulnerable at that point, and there's so much going on. You want to make sure you don't make those mistakes. I think anyway, mothers who work, whether they're single or not, will always feel some guilt.
Guilt, yeah.
But I also think that mothers who work are better planners and better managers of time, and that they can do so much. मैं आज यही कह रही थी, वो मेरे बाल धो रहे थे तुम्हारे सैलून में, तो मैं उन लड़कियों को देख रही थी जो खड़ी हुई थी वहाँ पे ना, हेल्पिंग मी, एंड आई नो सम ऑफ द स्टोरीज बिकॉज मुझसे बातें करती रहती हूँ. आई वाज लाइक मैं तुम लोगों को सबको सलूट करती हूँ क्योंकि ये तुम अपना घर छोड़ के आती हो, पता नहीं 1 घंटा लगता होगा आने में, फिर काम करते हो, फिर घर जाके खाना भी देखना है, फिर घर भी देखना है, फर्नीचर भी देखना है, ये भी देखना है कि अम्मी कैसी हैं, बच्चे कैसे हैं, मियाँ कैसा, यू नो, इट्स अ लॉट. It's a lot to do it, and but it's so important to know कि हम लोग कर सकते हैं, हम सब कुछ कर सकते हैं, और balance जो है वो लाना पड़ता है सिर्फ. That's and also very important thing Nabila has just said is going for therapy, and also realizing I've been for therapy. I think most people now, even my children, and there's no shame in this. ये सब बड़ी बात है कि लोग समझते हैं हाय ये देखो जाके थेरेपिस्ट के पास बैठी हुई है, you know, and people don't understand this.
एक दफा मैं
Talk
अपनी
about this.
therapist से, I've been going to a therapist. It was a gift for me by Nabil, my friend who passed
Right.
away
अच्छा.
at the age of 29. उसने मुझे डॉक्टर दुरे के साथ सेशन गिफ्ट किया था. Who was in Lahore,
अच्छा.
and very very expensive at that time. So it was a breakfast session on 14th of February. I remember बसंत पे हम लाहौर में थे.
Valentine's
तो
Day.
exactly. So वहाँ से जो शुरू हुआ, तो you know, I felt कि I learn, I understand, I reflect. You know, and it's like a soundboard. A professional will A, keep it discreet, and B, make you go into spaces where you have the answers from within,
Yes.
but you hear yourself
Yes.
and you understand. You know, so बहुत ज़रूरी है therapy. I remember एक therapist के बाद मैं अपनी अम्मी के घर गई उनसे मिलने के लिए, तो she said, therapist के पास से आ रही हो क्या, तुम्हारा दिमाग खराब है?
वही ना, दिमाग खराब.
मैंने कहा नहीं, मेरा दिमाग ठीक है, इसलिए मैं जा रही हूँ.
Exactly. और आई थिंक बहुत सारे लोग समझते हैं कि आर्ग्यूमेंट जो आती है पाकिस्तान में वो ये कि भाई हमारे पास तो फ्रेंड्स हैं, हमारे पास, बट लोगों को समझ नहीं आती दैट यू कांट टॉक टू योर फ्रेंड्स, यू हैव टू टॉक टू अ स्ट्रेंजर.
बिल्कुल. So you know, I mean, if I have an eye problem, as much as my mother loves me, I still need an eye doctor. बिल्कुल इसी तरह की बात है. और दिमाग में से ऐसे नहीं, अगर उंगली कटेगी खून निकलेगा तो हम फौरन जाएंगे स्टिचेस लगाने, लेकिन दिमाग का क्या हाल हो रहा है, just because it's not bleeding doesn't mean that you don't need to clarify your mind or just heal from some trauma. But therapy, I think, is very important, and everyone should have a therapist. Now I feel like I have healed from all my issues, but I still have a therapist to coach me. So his role has changed into
Life
a mind coach,
a life coach,
which I will say कि मैं ये करना चाह रही हूँ. Do you think am I being crazy? And then he will empower me to believe in myself and go for it. So now it's a different thing, but a good therapist is a must in your life, more than a hairstylist.
Okay, so I think hairstylist is very important. I think hair changes everything more than makeup. I think your hair is more. I mean, if somebody had to ask me, right? I think the body, first of all. I think fitness, because I've really gone into this, and you know, I've been admitting it also that I've never put myself first. Now we come back to this point. Okay, which I've started doing this year for myself. Okay, so let me ask you, what are you doing for yourself? I know this is, how are you celebrating your big 6-0? You don't mind talking about your age, right? You've never minded this. I've never seen you.
yeah, no
You've never
problem.
hidden it because you're confident and you're going on and you're healthy.
देखिए ये कैलेंडर और एनुअल ये तो सारा मैन मेड है ना, एंड यस वी आर ओल्ड एंड वी आर ग्रोइंग ओल्डर एंड वाइजर होपफुली. So I don't put much pressure on events कि ये अब ये बर्थडे है और आज वैलेंटाइन है और कल ईद है और 14 अगस्त है. मेरे लिए हर डे इज डू व्हाट यू लाइक डूइंग एंड सेलिब्रेट इट. So I think at 40 what I did was soul searching. I said I'm not going to lie about a few things. That's when I told Maqsood, I think we've grown apart, we need to end. I went and lost weight. I changed some of my best friends who I thought was not a good influence, toxic. I sacked my cook. I addressed my issues with my kids. So मैंने बहुत जो literally took the bull by its horns when I was 40. And then उसके बाद में मुझे समझ आई, I think I was going through a big financial crisis around the same time. So with the last bit of money left, I went and put an outdoor shower and bought a stereo music system. I said कि जब मेरा दिमाग ठीक होगा तो मेरा काम भी ठीक होगा.
सही कह रही हैं आप.
So I invested that last bit of penny in myself,
Yes.
in nature, in moon, in sunsets, and in good showers, and good music and good mindset. तो मैं अपने आप को बहुत priority देती हूँ, and I am mostly accused of being selfish. Now selfish अलग चीज़ होती है, self interested एक और चीज़ होती है. जब आप जहाज़ में जा रहे हैं तो जब ऑक्सीजन गिरेगा तो वो आपको बताते हैं कि पहले अपने को लगाएं फिर बच्चे को लगाएं, क्योंकि जब आप बच्चे को लगाएंगे तो वो अगर बच भी गया तो फिर आप मर जाएंगे तो वो नहीं बचेगा. So you have to be strong if you're going to lead. And now I feel there is such a big army of people who is dependent on me for their growth, for their mental stimulation, for their, of course, income, my children, my team, my future projects, etc. कि I can't afford to not take care of myself. It is a must that I have to be healthy, not just physically, but mentally, spiritually, emotionally. And with this therapy, with a lot of yoga, I practice inner engineering. So I take very good care of myself. I'm up very early, I'm up mostly around 4 o'clock because the shuru ke 4 ghante hain wo mere hain. And if I sleep early, I invest in my whatever I like. I don't like my jewelry, but I love clothes, shoes, bags. I travel to wherever I need to if I want a tattoo or a haircut.
You have tattoos? I've never seen Nabila with a tattoo. Do you have tattoos? You do? So they're hidden. Mine too. Well, I have one here. I think it's here on this side. Yeah.
So whatever I want to do, and views, like in wherever I stay, I want to have the best view. And I invest in that. And because लोग कहते हैं कि नहीं कुछ थोड़ा सा चल जाएगा, देखें सस्ता है, मैं कहती हूँ नहीं, मैं कल मर गई तो क्या होगा, मुझे तो आज चांद देखना था, मुझे तो आज सनसेट देखना था, मुझे तो आज बॉस्फोरस देखना था. So I invest in that, and I feel like I'm not saving कि मैंने ये लेना है, बच्चों के लिए जेवर लेना है, बहू के लिए फलाना नहीं, ये मैंने आज अपने लिए ये करना है, ठीक है. एंड मेरी छोटी छोटी खुशियाँ हैं. मैं एक चाय पी के बहुत खुश होती हूँ. मैं सुबह को जो नहीं
चाय कब से मांगी थी?
I wasn't reminding you.
No,
of that.
I remembered a little while ago. Can we go check on the chai, please? Okay, thank you.
या मैं रोड पे चल के बहुत खुश होती हूँ.
पत्ती चाय चाहिए. सुन लिया तुमने? कोई चीनी भी चाहिए उसमें?
Of course.
Oh, so she looks after herself and she does what she wants. Okay, she'll have her yoga, but she'll have the दूध पत्ती की चाय with chini.
Yes.
I love that. Yeah.
Struggles with the weight.
Ah.
When struggle with the weight, is that a question or not yet?
No, not yet.
Okay, ठीक है. तो हम उसकी
I'm
बात
going
करें
in
कि
the flow.
self love
Yes,
तो बहुत ज़्यादा
I
self
want to
love.
talk about self love. अभी भी चल रहा है या बंद? हाँ?
On roll है ना?
On roll रहने दे. हाँ.
अच्छा, अब self love तो इतना हो गया कि as you know, my second marriage was to Imu, and we were very happily married for 11 years. That I had so much self love that I told him that you need to go because I'm in love with myself.
Wow.
Yeah, and my future was my goal.
But that was so bold also. Just getting
and
married to a younger guy and saying, whatever.
He was a great companion. We had a great time for 11 years. But when I felt that, I was going in a different direction and I was evolving in a way that I feel like I am complete. I do not need an external, you know, person,
I was gonna
romance.
come to that.
Romance. I don't need romance.
So I saw a movie. Everybody's seen this movie, and Kate Blanchett is in it, and it's called Elizabeth. And I think she got an Academy Award for it. But वो उसमें she, you know, she has all these suitors. उससे शादी कर लो. She's in love with some guy also. But she sits there and says, puts the white face. She puts the makeup on. Okay, lead. उस ज़माने में lead. They say she had no face left by the time she died because lead is poisonous. So she used to put that white mask on herself. And she said, I'm married to England. So she decided, I mean, this is now 500 years ago. This woman was running an empire, obviously. Empress ho gayi. I wouldn't even call her like queen. She was an empress. She said, I'm married. So that, when I read that now about you, I thought, Nabila says, I'm married to me. This is what you said, right? Quote unquote. So for me, that's what it took me back 500 years ago to this woman who sat there and said, but she was married to a country because she realized this was her responsibility and this is what she wanted to do. But imagine having what you've just said, and I'm going to admit this, for the last, whatever, 23, 4 years, for me, it's never been me as number one, okay? And it took, again, a therapist to teach me this. I mean, you said, I'm so happy that you arrived at this a while ago, but I've just arrived at it now, just now, because I have been married to my children, married to my mother, married to my work, and never putting myself first. So I think ये बहुत important बात नबीला ने की है, and everybody needs to understand this, because इसलिए मैं ये कह रही हूँ क्योंकि जब वो कहते हैं ना, अगर even if your role is as a mother, if you're not fed properly, if you're not eating properly, छोटी उम्र में आप बच्चे पैदा कर रहे हो जब आपकी body ready नहीं होती, you have to put yourself first so that you can look after any of the responsibilities that you have. ये हम लोग नहीं करते, हमारे culture में नहीं है.
If you're healthy mentally, emotionally,
yes,
you
yeah.
can be more useful to people you love.
Exactly, और ये हमारे culture में नहीं है, क्योंकि हमारे culture में हमें
क्योंकि हम झूठ बोलते हैं, हम अपने से झूठ बोलते हैं,
अपने आप से झूठ बोलते हैं, और मगर हमें ये सिखाया भी तो जाता है ना, वही वाली बात है ना, अनलर्निंग, कि भाई दूसरों का ख्याल रखो, you have to look after your parents, you have to look after your children, you have to look after, but you're not looking after yourself. So a lot of people, women especially, even men, there's a lot of pressure on men, right? Because they have to be the earners, right? वो दो बंदे हैं, मगर वो एक ही बंदा जाके वो पूरे खानदान का, not even माँ बाप बहन की शादी, ये वो सब कुछ कर रहा था, उसके ऊपर जो मेंट, और इसीलिए वो हम लोग उस दिन बात कर रहे थे कि 60% जो सुसाइड्स भी होती हैं वो आदमियों में होती हैं, बिकॉज उनके ऊपर आपने इतना प्रेशर डाला हुआ है. एक तो हम लोग अपना ख्याल नहीं रखते क्योंकि हमें इस चीज़ के बारे में नहीं पता कि इट्स ओके टू गो एंड टॉक टू समबडी व्हेन यू एंड डिप्रेशन इज समथिंग, मैं किसी को नहीं जानती, यहाँ पे सब बैठे होंगे जो भी झूठ बोले मुझसे कि किसी के पे ना गुजरा हूँ, सब पे गुजरता है, यू नो, एंड इट्स वेरी it's something which is curable and it's easily done. Do we have tea now? Yay! अच्छा, फिर okay, so we've talked about the importance of the self-love, जिसकी बात करते हैं. Marriage also, we've talked about how it's okay to move on because everybody needs to be happy, and we've talked about the children, we've talked about some of the work. Let's talk about your style. Because Nabila को कह रही थी ना मैं नमूना हूँ, ये नमूना नहीं है. You dress very well. First of all, I'm going to say this, if I can, okay? And I think I have some credibility in the market, so I can say that. Because you have your own style. Pakistan में, don't you feel, Nabila, I know your style, I know you said कि 200 shirts हैं तुम्हारी, white shirts तुम्हारे पास हैं. अब लोग, मैंने भी नबीला से पूछा, नबीला ये तुम एना विंटोर बनना चाहती हो, ये तुम्हारा बॉब है, तुम्हारे चश्मे हैं. तो नबीला ने कहा मुझे नजर नहीं आता है.
सही बात है,
Okay.
सही बात है.
Alright, can we, so
स्टाइल आप कह रही हो. So मैं नमूना इसलिए मैं कह रही हूँ कि I remember my sister was married when she was 14.
Oh my God.
And I was 12 then. तो मम्मी ने बड़ा अच्छा कोई सैटर्न का ना मैक्सी और कोई बहुत ही महंगा सा ऊपर उसका टॉप लगाया था, कोई नेट का दुबई से खरीद के दर्जी ने बनाया. मैंने स्पुटनिक से जाके ब्राउन लेदर के बूट्स खरीदे और वो उसके साथ पहन के.
So you were like the runaway bride with the boots at that time.
At that time.
Yeah.
And that's because I didn't want to blend in. Can you see this child
Yes.
who's 12 and
Yeah.
she wants to look like a namuna.
Yeah.
और मैं खुद अपने बाल काटती थी because I didn't want to look like anybody else. So that stayed with me and now I'm nurturing that कि बेटा आपको जोर करना है. अभी 3 साल पहले मैं पिंक बाल करके बड़ी खुश थी. बट मेरा जो इंडिविजुअल स्टाइल है, आई फील कि अगर कोई आपकी वीकनेस है तो आप उसको फैशन के थ्रू वो कर सकते हैं. दिस इज फॉर मी. आई एम नॉट प्रीचिंग दिस टू अदर्स. दिस वर्क्स फॉर मी. फॉर इंस्टेंस कि मुझे अगर दूर का भी नजर नहीं आता, करीब का भी नजर नहीं आता, मेरा काम हेयर कट का भी है, मेकअप का भी है, टेक्सचर्स कलर्स का भी है, राइटिंग का, कंप्यूटर का भी है, शो देखने का भी है, स्क्रीन देखने का भी है. तो मैंने आई इन्वेस्ट इन रियली नाइस, आई मीन दिस pair. I flew to Berlin for 3 hours to buy this from
Just
Kubera.
for this? Wow.
Yeah. So, you know, I just went to the shop and I went back to the airport. So I really work on collecting the pieces that I like, and they're not very cheap because I don't like jewelry. I probably can afford all these things. तो इसमें मैंने वो progressive lens लगाया है, दूर भी है, करीब भी है, dark भी है, light भी है. So it can take me from writing to watching, from morning to night and still look cool and have a solution.
Yeah.
Why won't I do it?
Why wouldn't
मैं कोई बुड्ढी का चश्मा लगा के क्यों प्रिटेंड करूं कि हाँ भैया मैं बुड्ढी, मुझे दिखाई
जैसे
नहीं
कि
दे रहा.
हमारी माँ के
अच्छा, मैं टैटूज की बात
हाँ,
करती हूँ.
tattoos,
I have a dry patch on both my elbows.
अच्छा,
So I had tattoos designed to cover it because
Wow.
you don't see the patch anymore.
But
You
why-
just see very nice
but
tattoos.
I like that. But I want to ask you about the leaf. What is the leaf about?
This is lilies. फूल
Lilies?
बहुत महंगे हो गए हैं इसलिए मैंने ये बनवा लिए हैं.
No, but the leaves are nice. I like that. So
These are
basically lilies.
Yeah. So I'm just saying that there was a dry patch and I wanted to cover it. वो बहुत बड़ी उसकी treatment की वो नहीं जाता था. I got very conscious. I started wearing, you know, covering my arms all the time. अब गर्मी में भी, you know, I wouldn't expose my
That's
arms.
so cool, guys.
So I had tattoos done. So now I can, and people think it's cool, but it's because it's serving a purpose.
That's right. And I remember मेरे tattoo artist ने भी कहा था कि if you have a scar,
Exactly.
we can cover it and make it beautiful.
Yes. Yes.
And it is decorative. I mean, if you are in the business of fashion and this is your mannequin.
And my hair is
yeah.
not very thick.
हाँ.
Okay. So मैं क्यों उसको लंबे करूँ? मेरी आपसे रेस तो नहीं लगी हुई है.
नहीं.
I like short hair. I've always liked short hair. It's not very thick hair. It looks stylish. It is very well kept.
Yes.
Then why should I apologize for it? If I don't look like the girl next door,
No,
I don't care.
No, but what I'm trying to say is that there's people don't understand, I think, Pakistan में individual fashion. I think हमारे culture में clone culture जिसको कहते हैं, अब तो हर बंदा एक जैसा.
Vanilla. Everyone's vanilla.
Everybody looks वो जो straight blow dries होते थे, वो hermes की चप्पलें, वो beige और black, and that is it. There is no experimentation with color. I don't know how many women my age would wear this color.
मुझे तो बहुत से लोग में फर्क ही नहीं लगता because they all look alike.
ये सब एक जैसे लगते हैं और भाई उनको डर है, डरते हैं. वो भी इस चीज़ से डरते हैं कि लोग क्या कहेंगे. तो वो चीज़ आप डेवलप ही नहीं कर पाते अपना इंडिविजुअल स्टाइल, जो कि बहुत ज़रूरी है फैशन के अंदर. और आपकी एक किस्म का it's kind of like it's so much fun because like you said, it's your signature. So you're going and looking for chashme in Berlin, and then I'm coming back and, you know, I found, you know, I love my white shirt, so let me see which white shirt I can find.
So my style would be more minimalist, would be more Japanese, if anything. It's very gender neutral, and it's also quite modest.
Yes.
So us boundaries में रहते हुए, because I like that. Tomorrow if I don't like that, I will change that too. So never say never. But you know, I usually go looking for wherever I'm traveling. I look for pieces that are interesting, that are like, you know, within this genre, and comfortable knitwear, comfortable shoes. You know, so I will never put myself out. So first comfort, second my style, third statement. These three things should always be there.
Okay, so let me ask you, what's the most expensive thing you've ever bought?
I don't know, but mostly bags.
Okay, all right. So those are fashion items, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, आप
But your
किसकी बात,
house
आप
is-
property की बात कर
मैं
रही
वही तो
हैं?
कह रही हूँ. Your house is beautiful. I've seen Nabila go from whatever that 7-quarter Salon place in her house to your beautiful home that you have, and I've seen your minimalistic furniture.
You know, when I climbed Kilimanjaro and I stayed in a tent for many, many nights, so that's when I realized I need very little. You know, मुझे एक टीवी चाहिए, वाईफाई चाहिए, शावर चाहिए, नाइट सूट चाहिए, खाना चाहिए, बिस्तर चाहिए, बस that's I'm very happy with that. And everything else is surplus. So I'm very flexible. I can happily live in a one-bedroom apartment or a big mansion, doesn't matter to me. But there have to, you know, some things are very personal. When I walked in, I told Rida, this is so Frieha. Like, you know, the whole house is reflecting your personal style. You know, which is a bit quirky, which is eclectic, which is colorful, which is bold, which is very accessorized. You know, mine is very minimal, very clean, very classic, very timeless. So my house will also be like that, चाहे वो एक कमरे का है, चाहे 10 कमरे का है.
Yeah, because I used to love that penthouse also. We had Marine Heights wala. Because you had the lovely balcony.
I had an outdoor shower.
That's what I'm saying. वो वहीं पे तो था वो shower जो था. I still remember that. And just sitting there and also Nabila ka, if people don't know, Nabila is people think she's क्या कहते हैं, you know, a snooty or ये और वो. I think most of the people I've spoken to over here मुझे वो यही बताते हैं कि there's no snootiness. It's all about being reserved, but I can tell you Nabila is not very social. ये मैं बता सकती हूँ सबको, because जो मेरी भी अगर 1-to-1 हुई है या तो काम पे होती मिलती थी या वो बहुत कम होती थी कि we would sit with a few people that you would invite, and that's how you keep your social circle. I've seen that, and you are sort of you say कि I'm an introvert, हाँ काम extrovert का है, लेकिन है Nabila is very focused on Nabila and what she wants, and you know, I'm very social. I'm everywhere, you know, I love being everywhere. So I also understand that part of it. So I know that. So I'm not even going to go into that question because that's not a right question for Nabila. Acha, now I think let's talk about, I don't really know how to say this. Okay, I've already called you the dawn of the business, so there's very little left after that. But I want to know, there's always been a little bit of, you're very ambitious, so am I, okay? And sometimes there's a line that we all tend to, now there was, I remember, yeah, because I was hair show mein thi aur I was in the Tariq Amin side, and it was the most beautiful creative show that I've ever been on. Actually it was. वो जो एक सफ़ेद और एक black. Am I right? Black and white, right there. But I also remember after this, you guys were really good friends. And that kind of, after that show, that relationship went like khalas. My relationship also went khalas there. But talking about your relationship there and with other people in the business, I haven't seen that relationship. Do you have a relationship with all the other people in the business?
No. I also don't have relationships outside my, you see, I believe कि अगर मैं कुछ करूँगी तो मुझे 100% करना है, दिल से करना है, मैं फ्लफ नहीं करती, मैं बकवास नहीं करती, मैं झूठ नहीं बोलती और मैं खाली दिल रखने के लिए चीज़ें नहीं करती. अगर मैं मीन करती हूँ, like I would love to have a one-to-one session with you or with people who I spend time, or like you said, small gatherings. You know, I won't just go tick 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 हर event में जा रही हूँ, हर event में मेरी तस्वीर खिंच रही है. जिधर मेरा like, you know, I'm very choosy in what I do because I put my heart and soul in what I do.
Right.
Okay. So अगर मैं सबसे पहले मैं हूँ, फिर मेरे बच्चे हैं, फिर मेरी एक्सटेंडेड फैमिली है, फिर मेरा काम है, फिर मेरी टीम है, इसके अलावा तो टाइम ही नहीं है ना. इसके अलावा टाइम है कहीं कहीं अपीयरेंसेस जो ज़रूरी करने हैं एंड सम क्लोज फ्रेंड्स, एंड बिटवीन ऑल द ट्रैवल दैट आई डू देयर इजंट टाइम फॉर एनीथिंग एल्स. सो लेकिन आई विल से समथिंग कि कोविड के बीच में जब सारे सैलॉन्स बंद हुए थे, सो एवरीवन रीच्ड आउट टू ईच अदर एंड मुझे बहुत उन्होंने सपोर्ट किया. दे ट्रीटेड मी रियली वेल. We made all the SOPs.
That's right.
And then when the salons were going to open, the government actually called us up and asked for those SOPs and the video.
Oh, very
so
good.
us time pe we all came together and there was a lot of respect. The top tier of the industry, we came together. Couple of them I'm still very friendly with. But मैं ऐसी नहीं हूँ कि फिर बिल्कुल घुस जाऊँ ना, काम अपनी जगह पे है, फ्रेंडशिप्स अपनी
So
जगह
it
पे है.
wasn't an ambition thing that you and Tariq parted ways. It wasn't because
We never parted ways. I mean, whenever, even now when we meet, we have a very slapstick, you know, relationship. But it was never something very serious or.
But in the market, Nabila, I'm just saying this. A lot of, I mean, again, I want you to clarify it. Because in the market, people say Nabila is very ambitious. Nabila doesn't like the whole incident with Nadia Hussain and the product. And, you know, that Nabila is very cutthroat. Nabila is very this.
I take all of that as a compliment. Of course, I'm ambitious. Of course, I'm cutthroat.
Yeah.
I tell my team I will never lose. जो चीज़ में मैंने फर्स्ट नहीं आना वो मैंने खेलना ही नहीं है गेम, ठीक है. सो एंड आई वर्क हार्ड एट इट. आई डोंट go ahead by cutting people off. I go ahead by working hard, and my team will vouch for it, how hard we work. There is, of course, there is vision, there is substance, there is money where my mouth is, and there is that implementation, and then excellence. You know, अगर मैं इतनी मेहनत करके आगे जा सकती हूँ, I don't have time for left, right, center. I don't want to give too much power to whoever Nadia Hussain is, but she just copied my script, and I was like, अपना दिमाग तो इस्तेमाल करो. Then she did a screenshot and used that as her brand launch marketing strategy. Okay.
But do you think you could have been more subtle?
I can't be subtle. I mean, at this age, I don't want to mince my words.
Okay.
Whatever I have to say, I have to say. जब भी मैं औरों से ज़्यादा बात ही नहीं करती, because I have too much on my plate. I don't have time for mollycoddling others.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. I can think that I can understand, and I can understand. I'm just trying to clarify it, that that's basically what it is.
नहीं, किसी को लड़की को मैंने कह दिया कि भाई इतनी अच्छी शूट आपने किया है, कि बाल क्यों आपने इचरा से खरीदे हैं. वो रोना धोना शुरू हो गया है, ये तो सपोर्ट नहीं करती.
अच्छा, मुझे ये बड़ी चीज फनी लगती है नबीला.
हाँ, तो मैं
coming to this,
I meant it कि you know it's such a great shoot, why don't you invest in real hair? Like why are you using this plastic hair? You will ruin the whole shoot. So for me this is positive criticism or you know constructive criticism. They take it like hi इसने हमें तंग किया.
हाँ, but I think ये तुम्हारा स्टाइल भी है, बड़े मजे का.
मेरा स्टाइल ये है.
तुम्हारा स्टाइल है. तुम अपने वो जो मुहावरे शुरू कर देती थी ना, वो चलो ना, I want to hear one मुहावरा
ऐसे नहीं आता वो.
नहीं आता ना.
ऐसे नहीं आता.
अच्छा. I love them and I would just sit and look at them like, ये कहाँ से आ गया? You know, because Nabila.
One-liners.
Like I was like, ये तो look at this Nabila's tish tosh, you know. Demeanor.
और अंदर से पूरा.
And अंदर से वो एक चीज निकल कर, and I'm like sitting there and then laughing my head off also, okay? Because amongst friends, you can always have these kind of conversations, right? And the thing is, it's about. People talk about don't judge, don't do this, don't do that, right? But we do judge, right?
Everyone judges.
We are all judging people, but what we have to be careful about is not hurting other people's feelings. And when you're passing that judgment on, give it in a positive way, ताकि उनको तकलीफ ना हो. लेकिन I have done this as well. I have been in Tribune in this because I made some comment about some woman's clothes. कि why they, because I just felt like people who live abroad, मुझे कभी-कभी लगता है कि वो they're not in touch with, even though social media is so big, or they have these leftover clothes that they end up wearing, which are like 30 years old, and you're like.
जब गए थे वो उन्हीं के संदूक में, उसमें फिनाइल की बुएं आ रही होती हैं.
नहीं, मगर वो ही, and I said something and I was like, oh my God, why did I do this? Why did I do it publicly? Because आप ये कह के आप फंस जाते हो. But it was so funny. I laughed myself about what I said, and I realized I can't do
It is
this.
real. अभी तो आप तो गर्ल और बॉय भी नहीं कह सकते हैं, फैट नहीं कह सकते हैं, अगली नहीं कह सकते हैं, you know, stupid नहीं कह सकते हैं. तो अभी तो आप कुछ नहीं कह सकते, तो आप क्या करें?
आप कुछ. And do you think it'll stay like this, or do you think आगे जाके थोड़ा change हो जाएगा?
I don't think it'll change. I think it'll get worse.
You think so? Okay.
इतना आप मुंह संभाल के बात करें कि बात ही ना करें. It's better not to talk.
Basically, I have no opinion because anything that you can say can be construed in a different way and can come back to bite you.
Exactly. You know, so somebody recently commented on a video of mine कि are you a man or a woman? I said I'm gender neutral and I identify as an antique table.
See, अब बताओ. See, अब यहाँ पे पता है क्या होता है पाकिस्तान, ये भी होता है ना, हमारे कल्चर में बहुत ज़्यादा है कि हम बहुत अपसेट हो जाते हैं. कोई हमें कुछ कहता है, तुम you're the opposite. Nabila's the opposite. She's laughing at herself. At herself.
Today I put up a picture of mine saying I'm looking like Willy Wonka, and I was because you know. अरे ये तो बिल्कुल विली वोंका लग रही है.
Yeah.
But you have to have the ability
Yeah.
to laugh at yourself
Yeah.
and not take life too seriously.
Right. I agree with you. I think this is another thing that oh God, I feel like I'm lecturing everybody, and I don't want to lecture anybody, but I think that it's very important to laugh at yourself. It's very important to have people make jokes. जैसे अभी थोड़ी देर पहले बात कर रहे थे ज़ुरैन और मैं, नासिर जान, you love that video, right?
No, so that was a gift to me by my nieces.
Okay.
They commissioned him
Oh,
to
they
make
commissioned
this.
him?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
And he made this video, and I just loved it. And a lot of people say, "आप नासिर खान जान लेती हैं," which I take as a compliment because he's a beautiful गोरा पठान and has short hair and wear dark glasses. तो हमारे लोग समझते हैं कि गोरा है, खूबसूरत है, short hair and dark glasses is equal to Nabila also. So I take all of that as a compliment.
That means you're beautiful. But I'm saying a lot of people don't, right? नहीं भाई, यहाँ पे तो बहुत कुछ हुआ है, लोगों को जेल जाना पड़ा है उल्टी सीधी बातें करने, आपने कुछ छाप दिया गलत या आपने ट्रोल कर दिया, the people come after you because they come after you, they troll you, they troll you anyway. and कितनी इनसिक्योरिटीज़ हैं कि उनको पास इतना टाइम पड़ा हुआ है कि वो ये सब कर सकें. मैं तो अगर किसी का कमेंट पे लाइक भी कर दूँ तो मेरे लिए बड़ा मुश्किल काम है. It's not easy to follow social media and to be constantly, but there's a lot of time for people on their hands, and I think social media has given them a voice as well, when it's not necessarily the intelligent voice or the right voice.
Exactly.
So there's a big problem there, right? But I mean, मुझे तो वीना मलिक doing Frieha Altaf at a show, I loved it. I thought, यार, हाँ, हम सब उम्मीद पे आ गई मैं, तो मैं कही तो मेरा मजाक उड़ाया, मेरे कितना मजाक उड़ाया जाता है, but I'm fine with it, I think ये आपके confidence का level
Exactly. If you're secure, it doesn't matter. You laugh with them.
हाँ, exactly. So these are some of the incidents. Okay, let's talk about some of your charity work now. I know this is important to you. So, Hunar Foundation, you work with them. So tell us about that a little bit. What is happening there?
So we set up their hair and makeup and grooming department to, available courses, vocational courses for people who want to spend a few months and be able to make a living.
Right.
So I help them out with it, and
I mean, you're a super empowered woman. I mean, there are इतने issues हैं औरतों के, बच्चों के ज़्यादा, मैं बच्चों के ऊपर ज़्यादा concentrate करती हूँ. मुझे बताओ, like, what are the issues that you feel very strongly about? Now, what happens if a kid comes to you? Because मैंने बहुत सारे salons में देखा है, young लड़कियाँ आती हैं काम करने, जिनकी उम्र नहीं होती, उसको child labor तो नहीं कह सकते कि they're not picking up bricks, but there are people. अभी जैसे किसी एक लड़की के रिजवाना के साथ हुआ है कुछ दिन पहले. There was a civil judge alleged, that she beat her up so badly that she's in hospital. Now, I mean, there are things like this. There's things happening every day. Okay, what do you think? What is it one thing that really upsets you, or you think अभी तक कुछ नहीं हुआ इसके बारे में? कोई ऐसी चीज़ है जिसके बारे में हमने अभी तो खैर, not that there's much been done anyway. अभी तो economy कोई बचा रहे हैं, लेकिन what do you think? What do you think? I mean, I want to know.
See, I work in my influence, not in my concern. अगर मैं concern के circle में जाऊँ तो from रोटी, पानी, बिजली, Wi-Fi, security, servants, rights, women's rights, gay rights, वो तो इतनी लंबी लिस्ट है कि हम डूब ही जाएंगे और हम कुछ सोचने के काबिल ही नहीं रहेंगे. लेकिन मैं उस पर काम करती हूँ कि मैं क्या कर सकती हूँ आज. ठीक है, अगर मैं इंक्लूसिव हायरिंग कर रही हूँ, या मैं कोचिंग कर रही हूँ, या मैं हुनर के साथ काम कर रही हूँ फॉर प्रोवाइडिंग दिस वोकेशन, या मैं वी हैव अडॉप्टेड एज गोल 8 एज वन ऑफ द एसडीजीज यूनाइटेड नेशंस की जो हैं ऑन एंडिंग मॉडर्न डे स्लेवरी. जो ये रिजवाना का केस है इज मॉडर्न डे स्लेवरी, लेकिन हम मानते नहीं है कि मॉडर्न डे स्लेवरी. हम कहते हैं स्लेवरी का मतलब ये नहीं है कि आप चेन्स पहन के बैठे हैं गुलाम रखे, इज आप अपने मर्जी के खिलाफ कोई भी चीज़ कर रहे हैं, वो स्लेवरी है. सो व्हेन आई स्टार्टेड वर्किंग क्लोजली विद देम, तो फर्स्ट थिंग वी डिड वाज वी चेक्ड के 18 से कम कौन है, और उनको हमने वी गिव देम money to study instead of employing, and we said कि आप दोबारा आएं, 1 साल बाद, 2 साल बाद. So 18 से कम तो हम हायर ही नहीं करते हैं. And विमेन एम्पावरमेंट की जहाँ तक बात है, बल्कि ह्यूमन एम्पावरमेंट आई से, कि a lot of women working in my field are women who are single, या husbands मारते हैं, या husbands नशा करते हैं, या husbands छोड़ के चले गए या मर गए, you know. तो वो single mothers हैं जिनको अपने बच्चे पालने हैं, कैसे वो मतलब we have to empower them, we have to give them a vocation, way to earn money, you know, some soft skills to excel, to you know bring up their own families. इसी तरह से a lot of people working in this field are also very, उनकी sexual orientation का बहुत मसला है, घर में मारते हैं कि जी ये कैसा लड़का है, ये लड़की की तरह है, इसको मेकअप का शौक है, तो उन लोगों को एक वॉइस देनी, एक प्लेटफॉर्म देना, एक फाइनेंशियल स्टेबिलिटी देनी, एक safe environment देना to blossom, to groom. I think those are the things that I do and I would love to continue to do. My children work very closely with animal welfare because you know वो बहुत ज़्यादा उस पे वो करते हैं. So अपनी तरफ से हम जो भी कर सकते हैं, every day we need to try and be a better human being, you know, live a better way, help others if you can. इसके अलावा हम क्या कर सकते हैं?
What I mean, Nabila changes होती हैं, तो Nabila अब और कैसे change हो रही है? I want to see what now. I mean, I know it's still a milestone. You don't believe in milestones or change, but you think it's constant. But I'm just thinking, what is it that you still want to do? I know you've got all your brands coming out, and अभी और वो उस पे बहुत लगी हुई हो. We're doing the museum together, inshallah, which I have to get you to do more work. You have to assign somebody because it's very tough. It's a lot of work. But I mean, I know that whenever I've called you, कोई भी idea आता है, जैसे virtual fashion week याद है? I called you and I said, because I saw a lot of people there, everyone sitting depressed. I didn't see a lot of proactive people. Let's find a solution. Solution based होती है ना, हर problems तो हर रोज होती है.
Exactly.
हाँ, what can we do? What can we do to get, you had a lot of stuff going on, you know, you were showing the SOP ads, you had started sending people to people's houses, remember I had
making videos, going live on YouTube.
You helped me cut my fringe on, we were doing videos together. I was like, okay, let's do this, you know, and you are always open to these kind of new and concepts and ideas, and so what would you love now that done so much? What would you love to do?
So, you know, my role is changing, and I realized this when Eva was due, which is almost 4 years ago. So it doesn't have anything to do with the 60 milestone. Also that I was single and I felt like, you know, I'm self-complete, etc. And I also feel like I'm a very good human being because I'm down to earth, I'm honest. If I do it with 100% commitment, or I don't do it. So I may not be saying nice things and making you feel good. I'm either there or I'm not there. So when my kids asked me, what will Eva call you? So I came up with a word called Biba. Okay, and Biba is Punjabi for neck.
Bibba bacha.
Biba written here, and I think that's when my milestone changed. The next phase of my life is Biba. I'm going to be a very good human being, and I'm going to live to the best of my ability. Now my role has changed with all the changes and growth, and you know, children growing up and grandchildren now being born. So what is my role? My role is as a consultant. So my kids now talk to me, or my team now talks to me as a consultant. So because I have very little time for them, because you know I'm involved with other projects. So when I'm there, I'm like, मुझसे आप ये तो पूछो भी नहीं, जिसका जवाब पता है वो तो पूछो भी नहीं.
Exactly.
Come with me, come with new problems to me. So I am there as a consultant that I think you should do that. I think this is how it should be done. I think this is the weakness. So my role is of a consultant. And professionally अगर देखें तो मैं अपना 38 years का experience translate कर रही हूँ into bringing out products that are solutions for you. So that are solutions to empower my clients, that they don't need to be coming to the salon. Like I mean, अगर आपको मैंने zero makeup की एक palette दी है, a lot of times you probably can manage your own, right? So इस तरह की बहुत सी चीज़ें मैं लेकर आ रही हूँ जिसमें मैं आपको empower कर रही हूँ कि salon आ जाना.
समझ गई. Right. Zoran is something. I just remembered something and I've completely forgotten it.
You want to talk about beauty and aging, plastic surgery?
Oh yeah, that's what I was remembering. Let's talk about that. You okay with that?
Yeah.
Of course you are. What even a question? Acha. So Nabila, mujhe, like you and I discuss a lot of things, right? We discuss, especially and you've been very open and you've been very good about this. But बहुत सारे लोग, मैं अब सच बोल रही हूँ उधर, बहुत सारे लोग ये समझते हैं कि नबीला ने पता नहीं कब से उसकी तो शक्ल ही बदल गई है, नबीला पता नहीं कब से क्या करा रही है अपने ऊपर और पता नहीं क्या कर चुकी है. And that's not true, because when I had that last conversation with you, I think you have been going non-evasive for a long time. Right? Evasive, non-evasive, अगर किसी को नहीं पता please look it up. But non-evasive वही होता है कि जब आपके
मैं बताती हूँ.
हाँ बताएं सबको.
Non-invasive मतलब सुई, invasive मतलब छुरी.
हाँ ठीक है, यानी कि आपने अपने अभी तक आपने सर्जरी नहीं कराई. हाँ, और would you call सुई जो होती है,
सुई से आप थ्रेड कर सकते हैं, बोटॉक्स कर सकते हैं, फिलर कर सकते हैं, मीजो कर सकते हैं, वो सारी नीडल का काम है. छुरी से आपने स्किन काटी, ऊपर की और सीली.
And you embraced this a long time ago.
So when I was 35, that's the first time I had botox done.
Okay.
And you know, because I was told at that time कि अगर आप पहले से करेंगी तो वो preventive है, तो वो muscles ना आप use करेंगी ना वो wrinkle पड़ेगा.
That's true.
So I started at 35 and a little bit of filler and then doing it once a year. से फिर 2 times a year हो गया, अब 3 times हो गया था. Then पिछले 3-4 साल में मैंने 2 दफा वो thread भी करवाया. But by now, you know, I spoke to a surgeon and he told me कि now it's going to work less and less. And whenever you're ready, we can do a facelift. So I did one in February and I'm still healing from it. But अगर कोई कहता है कि वो शक्ल नहीं रही, तो मैं कहूँगी thank God for it. वो उम्र भी नहीं रही.
Exactly.
You know, तो अगर आप वो कहते हैं ना,
But you had
पहली सी मोहब्बत मेरे महबूब नाम.
So okay, नबीला से मैंने इसलिए बात की थी कि I haven't had a evasive surgery yet. I'm just waiting कि मेरा weight जो मेरा target है उस पे आ जाए तो उसके बाद मैं करूँगी. मुझे भी obviously सबको डर लगता है, लेकिन you know when you talk to a friend or you talk to somebody like you और जिसको जो आपको एक confidence भी दिला सकता है, आपको उसके do's and don'ts बता सकता है, आपको जो आपका healing period है, you need to know these things, right? And everybody wants to look beautiful. I don't want to hide my turkey neck in a scarf. I don't, okay? I would rather fix it than do that. That's me. But that's a very important thing कि आपको लोग ये बातें ये भी नहीं करते. ये चले मैं कहती हूँ ना छुपाते रहते हैं लोग, छुपाते रहते हैं.
मैं कहती हूँ कि you know, being in this profession, मेरी काफ़ी लोग आके बात सुनते भी हैं, बात करते भी हैं, डिस्कस भी करते हैं. तो मैंने अपनी लाइफ को और मेरे एक्सपीरियंसेस, थिंग्स दैट हैव वर्कड फॉर मी को इतना ओपन बुक रखा है कि आई लीगलाइज्ड, आई थिंक, इन माय conversation, if nothing else, therapy, drug rehabs, botox fillers, सर्जरीज, लाइपोसक्शन. मतलब मैं हर चीज़ की ओपनली बात करती हूँ तो लोग जो है ना पहले शॉक्ड हो जाते हैं, उनको लगता है हाय ये कैसे बोल रही है, सबके सामने कैसे बोल दिया. फिर वो घर जाके कहते हैं मेरी एक फ्रेंड को ज़रूरत है तो उस डॉक्टर का. सो एंड आई एम लाइक वेरी हैप्पी कि चलो अगर मैंने 10 लोगों से बात की उसमें से एक का कल काम हो गया, एक का 10 साल बाद भी हो जाएगा. सो व्हाई नॉट. अच्छा, अब क्या ज़रूरी है कि आप एज कर रहे हैं तो आप अपनी ये ज़रूरी सर्जरीज वगैरह करें? हेल नो. माई मदर इज़ इन हर 80s एंड शी टेक्स प्राइड इन द फैक्ट कि मैंने तो अभी तक कलर भी नहीं लगाया और मैंने कभी कुछ ये काम नहीं कराया, विच इज़ फाइन. दैट्स अ वे टू एज इफ दैट्स व्हाट शी लाइक्स. एंड शी लुक्स ब्यूटिफुल, शी वेयर्स लवली क्लोथ्स. बड़ा उनको शौक है बालों का, मेकअप का, चप्पल वप्पल, मैचिंग ज्वेलरी, एंड इट्स वेरी स्वीट. एंड you know, I want to be pickled. I don't want to age, you know. So I will see how it goes. Abhi tak so far so good. And if it doesn't look like I did at 21, of course it won't.
Then nobody
Why are
can
you
look
even
like
asking for it?
And can I say something? I sometimes I feel I look better now than I did at 21.
I'm very happy with me now.
Mentally तो मुझे बिल्कुल ही वहाँ नहीं जाना.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. And you know, it's about me. It's about how I feel today, and I feel great.
Yeah. अच्छा नबीला, हम फैशन म्यूज़ियम करने जा रहे हैं और एक गाला करने जा रहे हैं. सो वी डिड अ वीडियो, राइट. वो लोग बहुत बड़े, वही तुम यू नो आपकी आदत, मैं भी कहने वाली थी तुम्हारी आदत है, आपकी आदत है बहुत बोल्ड एंड ऑनेस्ट बोल देती हैं. आपने कहा फैशन का तो स्वयं भी अब उस पे मुझे कोई 10 कॉलें आ गई, मैसेजेस आ गए, ऐसे नहीं बोलना चाहिए था ये, फिर आपको पता है इंडस्ट्री वैसे भी थोड़ी सी वो ईगोटिस्टिकल, तो मैंने कहा यार तो लोगों को तकलीफ हो रही है इस बात से, एंड देन आई रियलाइज कि कमर्शियली तो वी आर डूइंग वेरी वेल यू नो इन फैशन. अब what do you think is missing? What do you think is that ingredient that's missing in fashion right now?
अभी आपने बोला कि सारी औरतें एक जैसी लगती हैं, वनीला है. फ्लेवर इज मिसिंग, इंडिविजुअलिटी इज मिसिंग, विजन इज मिसिंग, यू नो एस्पिरेशनल वैल्यू इज मिसिंग, क्रिएटिविटी इज मिसिंग, काउंसिल्स आर मिसिंग. अब बताएं और क्या कहूँ. डिजाइनर्स तो बतेरे हैं. हर एक ने गैराज में 6 कपड़े बना के हर कोई डिजाइनर बन गया. इट्स वेरी इजी,
राइट,
यू नो. बट जो ट्रू क्रिएटिविटी है और ट्रू जो विजन है और ट्रू यू नो आउट ऑफ द बॉक्स आइडियाज हैं, वो नहीं देख रहे हैं, क्योंकि फैशन वीक्स नहीं हो रहे हैं, वो कोविड से पहले से नहीं हो रहे हैं. यू नो, सो वेयर डू यू सी द कलेक्शंस? यस, देयर इज commercial work happening, like you said, but fashion में directional, no, it's not directional at all.
Yeah, and I think जब तक वो break नहीं करेगा, I think the brands that were supporting fashion, there were so many, right? We used to have, we had at one point we had 8 fashion weeks going on in Pakistan.
Yes, and you know वो चीज़ अब खत्म हो गई तो प्लेटफॉर्म ही नहीं है. क्या बात करें?
But वो इसलिए भी खत्म हुई कि fashion started losing eyeballs, quality भी खत्म हो गई थी, क्रिएटिविटी ख़त्म हो गई. मैं हमेशा समझती हूँ कि उस वक्त जब हमने काम स्टार्ट किया था हम 6 लोग थे या 6-7 में, हाँ, but that was everyone suddenly was noticing it, right? कि यार ये क्या हो रहा है, right? So this is what I'm saying, you know, that's very important. That energy, that passion to create is very important, and that needs to be. Do you think everyone has become very lackadaisical? Do you think it's Generation Z? They just want to wear like sweatshirts and sneakers and all of that, but
स्वेटशर्ट्स और स्नीकर्स में भी आप देखें तो ज़ारा ने कितनी बिजनेस की है. दैट्स आल्सो फैशन.
that's right.
यू नो, स्नीकर्स इज अ वेरी बिग बिजनेस. तो मुझे कोई इंडिविजुअलिटी तो कोई दिखाए कि क्या डायरेक्शन है इधर.
Have you watched Barbie?
Yes, I did.
And what did you think?
Honestly, I went to sleep thrice during the film.
So did
I thought it was very boring. I thought it was just trying to whitewash the Barbie image. And but it was pink and blue and inspiring.
That was fun.
That was
That's
fun.
what when I went, Nomi and Sari invited me. He said, just watch the art direction, watch the clothes, watch this, watch that. I was like, yeah, he's right. Just because it did kind of start a trendy kind of thing happening on social media, which is important. I have one question. This is my own. Abhi mujhe dimag mein. I felt a few years ago, okay, जो आपका ई स्ट्रीट का जो सैलॉन है बड़ा, before that, I felt Nabila had kind of lost interest in her business. What was that period of time? Because I know it happened. I know that, and then suddenly you came back with swinging and, you know, running the field and home runs, and it hasn't stopped, mashallah se. Huh? I felt that. What was happening at that time? Was there a struggle going on? Was there something going on?
I'm just thinking.
There was a period of time.
That must have been like 13 years ago because we've been at E Street for 12 years.
Yeah.
So what was happening then?
There was a lull.
I know कि you know, I mean, I think we didn't do 2 LSAs or
no, it's not. It wasn't about the show.
No, I'll tell you something interesting. So 2 LSAs हमने नहीं किए, किसी और ने किए. और एक आध कोई लाहौर का फैशन वीक की किसी और ने किया. जो भी जिस भी वजह से पॉज है, अभी तो मुझे याद भी नहीं है कि क्यों मैंने अगर स्टेप बैक किया, या मे बी आई वाज कंसंट्रेटिंग ऑन समथिंग एल्स. आई डोंट नो व्हाट वाज हैपनिंग एट दैट टाइम एग्जैक्टली, बट आई रेड एन आर्टिकल. मेरे ऑफिस में वो जो लोकल मैगजीन्स पढ़े हुए होते हैं ना, तो एक दिन ऐसे ही मैंने उठाया तो किसी ने अपने इंटरव्यू में लिखा था कि नबीला इज थिंग ऑफ द पास्ट, नाउ इट्स मी.
Oh, okay. All right.
I said अभी बताती हूँ.
अच्छा, that's all it takes, हाँ?
Yes.
कि मैं थोड़ा सा पोक करोगे तो मैं बस.
अच्छा, आप समझ रही हैं कि I'm thing of the past. Let me come back like anaconda and show you who
And you
who's there
really
to stay.
did. Anaconda and like anaconda, we कोई Jurassic Park के level का, you know, anaconda that is like.
So that's when I realized कि even I may have been working, but वो एक perception create किसी तरह से हुआ कि मैंने एक project छोड़ा या दो project छोड़े तो क्या हुआ किसी और ने जगह ले ली लेकिन देखें getting on top is very easy.
Staying
A
there.
lot of people have come and gone, you know, वो flavor of the month type के जो
Yes.
लोग होते हैं, but अल्लाह का शुक्र है that we have been able to stay on top. And when you say that you're cutthroat, yes, I am.
That's cut. And I'm just saying, but I also saw this like amazing business plan coming into focus, you know. And I was like, what is Nabila up to, you know? Because like you said, I'm a simple person. You maybe it was just part of the change. Maybe you were investing into your business. This is the zero business. You had all of this planned. Was there something like that going on? Did you just because I felt it. I'm just sitting here. I'm in the industry. I felt that Nabila has come back stronger and stronger and stronger than I have ever seen her before, right? And you've done it, okay? And I just saw it happen, and I said, and I felt like one day I'm going to sit down and ask her, because you sold your penthouse, okay? I didn't know where you were living after that. I thought maybe you just zero ke andar, I wanted to know. I was like, who is this business manager of hers? So who is this consultant that she's got? Was that you? The business manager or the consultant? Was it you?
Yeah, I mean, my brother who lives in Dubai, he's my business mentor and he helps me a lot with a lot of things. But I think ये जो penthouse बेचा वगैरह happened when I went to Kilimanjaro and I realized I need nothing. So that's when everything and everyone was chucked out because I felt like I am just happy in a one room. And
you told me this about Lahore also कि मेरे पास एक छोटी सी जगह है मैं वहाँ जाके you know I mean I think ये बहुत important चीज़ें हैं लोगों के लिए because जो एक हवस हर चीज़ का एक हवस होता है ambition होता है whatever you want to call it right jewelry का हवस नहीं है काम का है doing good now it's all about being the Biba we're going to stop on that right I love that Biba she's going to be the Biba बच्चा के ज़्यादातर बच्चों कहते हैं बड़ा Biba है huh right so that's where Nabila is going to go and I'm really proud of you and I'm really proud to know you and to work with you and to grow with you and hopefully we'll still have miles to go and we want to give you something, right? Do we have something for Nabila? Yeah.
That's so sweet. Nobody gives me anything.
Why? What do you mean? You probably don't want it. Well, flowers you can never say no to. So we have flowers for sure and these flowers are coming from Zarita. She actually watched the podcast a few days ago and she was in Swat and she said, मुझे तुम्हारा podcast इतना अच्छा लग रहा है सनम सईद के साथ तो मैंने कहा अच्छा कहती है can I give flowers to your guests?
That's such a great idea.
Can. Of course you can give flowers to my guests and then of course this is something that that we have from this is my daughter-in-law. Oh, she has a brand.
Oh, wow.
Oh, sorry. Okay, but you can take it home. You have to open it. But you can always tear it apart and see, acha, inhone kya.
Lurella is her brand?
Lurella is Iman and and her sister, they're running this brand.
Lovely.
And it was, I think, it was with the uncle in LA and they sort of brought it in. And these are for you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay, so.